Safety in domination. L. Ron Hubbard. I didn't expect him making a Scientology video. I was listening to Slide Away by Miley Cyrus because I was like, I have to listen to it after the last video that you would have just seen. And for some reason, I thought how, whether we acknowledge it or not, as humans, I realized that I think that the flaw in L. Ron Hubbard's thinking is that he's suggesting that the thing that all organisms have in common is the desire for survival. I would actually argue that it's the desire for safety. And I'm going to explain why. Now, I need you guys to run with me here, right? Because I think I've been trying to find what the flaw is in L. Ron Hubbard's thinking, because I see where he's going when he says about everyone, every human, whether primitive or cultured, is seeking to survive. But I would actually go a step further. I would say people are seeking for safety. Now, why do I even believe in that? Let's talk about weapons for a second, right? Slightly offhanded topic. One thing with weapons is that weapons are always associated with safety, as in increasing somebody's perceived level of safety or decreasing a level of safety, right? So you look at, like, for example, over here in the United States, how people are with guns. Very disappointed I didn't see one gun on this trip, but it's good that I didn't see any, if you know what I mean. I would have only wanted to see them in the right context. But anyway, if you're the person on the other side of the gun, you feel unsafe. But the person who's holding the gun at you, they feel safer. And that's why even when you guys see thieves, when they go with the gun, a lot of times to rob people, they don't want to actually shoot. They're hoping that the fear you have in your lack of safety is going to be enough for you to do what they're trying to get you to do. So what does this have to do with L. Ron Hubbard? And what does this have to do with what I really think is going on in Scientology? When I went to speak to this woman, which you guys will hear the conversation, I'm probably just going to post the raw footage, and I don't know how. If I may, hopefully I'll be intelligent enough to charge my phone properly so I can edit on the airplane. That would be the wisest choice. I'm going to be in the air for 7 hours. So what you guys need to think about is, we all need to think about with that is, what was I going? Oh yeah. This lady that was talking to me now, she's been in Scientology for 40 years. She really believes in this stuff. And she told me, and this is the only bit I didn't get recorded, unfortunately, is she told me that and I spent like a good 2 hours in there, you know, guys. I spent like 2 hours in that building talking to this here woman. She took me to the chapel. She took me through all these courses they do. Like, listen, they're doing Scientology on steroids in some places. Anyway, so you could tell the way she came across to me was extremely controlling, as if to say, very subtly, I know what you need. I'm going to prove that to you via logic, because that's the first thing I've noticed they all like to say. This is a logical thing. This is purely logical. Whilst at the same time, we just sat there in the video that you showed me, the very first video where it talks about me being a Thetan, which Thetan, I now know because of this visit, is because of theta, the Greek symbol, which is crazy because I use theta in teaching because of maths, you know, sine theta, alpha theta, you know, that type of thing. So, which apparently theta is a Greek symbol that's usually associated with spiritual beings. This is what she was saying, or spirit, according to Greek, whatever. So this is what I was learning in New York City, Scientology. And everything about what she was doing is like, you're actually contradicting yourself some of the time, because they'll try to push themselves as this is purely logical, but at the same time consistently telling you that this is a spiritual thing. At which point we all know, for those people who've been here on the channel, that eventually we've all established that this is just a spiritual thing, isn't it? This is just a spiritual thing. because when you get to the operating thetans, which I did like a 4 days thing where it just sounded like I was talking in another language, but we know that's where this really goes. So what is my point here? The point is we control you by giving you a sense of safety, because even if you think about the ability to survive and what they think of the ability to survive, it's you being in an environment, how you feel. It's all about how you feel in your environment. Do you feel you have the ability to do what you need to in your environment? So it's actually about safety more than it's survival. Why am I deciphering the difference? Well, because surviving is just basic survival, as in having what you need, living in your means, that kind of thing. Safety goes into surplus. Safety goes into things like weapons, and you see what I'm saying? More extreme weapons, a vaster, greater need for contingency plans and contingency plans and like extra storages of food, and that's where we're talking about safety, if that makes sense. Survival says, I know that whenever I need to get what I need, I can get it. Safety says, I've prepared so that whatever I need and or want, I can get. That's actually what Scientology is trying to promise. But the way they're doing it is in such a way where you are being programmed to control people, because control is a form of safety. Let me tell you guys why that is. You can even use this gun example. The American public feel, a lot of them, that the right to bear arms is a form of protection from a corrupt government. I.e., if you get to shoot at me, I should get to shoot back, because if you get to shoot at me and you're corrupt and I'm just left here disarmed, I now no longer feel safe. So for the people who don't factor into any of the extremist categories, right? I feel safer knowing that if you can do this, I can do this. And I actually believe this is one of the biggest reasons America is the way it is more than other countries, because the government cannot get away with these days they're getting away with a lot. That's because people are not really fighting anymore for anything. But you get the gist, right? And so let's talk about something. Let's talk about something that people are not going to like that I'm going to say. A genuine opinion that I have. Let's talk about the transatlantic slave trade. And the reason why I specifically want to talk about this is because I really believe, let's remember that I said, L. Ron Hubbard himself said that he believes he was Cecil Rhodes, the man who founded where? Rhodesia, where I'm from, right? Zimbabwe and Zambia, exactly where I'm from. Which, by the way, the lady I met at this Scientology in New York City said to me when she saw me and I told her that my name was Kudelia Ina Bernstein. You guys will hear this in the clip. She says, "Are you South African?" Guys, I felt like I met my match on a spiritual level. Like I could feel the tension, like the spiritual tension, the witchery of this woman. It was beautiful. I love tension like that between people like that. It's fun. And you could tell that somewhere she could suss something was off with me. I loved it. It was exhilarating, actually. But sometimes it was hard not to laugh, knowing that I was just spewing stuff, because I was making stuff up. She's asking me, like, what's happening with you and your family? I was like, well, me and my whole family are here. My dad runs this business. My mum does this. And I was just making stuff up, like literally making stuff up. But anyway, Kudelia, South African. She's like, oh, yeah, Ron Hubbard, he has a thing with Zimbabwe, with South Africa. Oh, you're coming from England. That's where Ron's, I like to call him Ronnie Hubbs. That's where Ronnie Hubbs' house is, in the UK. Because remember what I also told you guys about Cecil Rhodes and how he's a very short 30-minute drive, 20-minute drive, not even 20-minute drive from my hometown in England. yeah, so all these interesting overlaps. Don't you just love the Lord and how he just puts these things out there? Because she was like, see, so this can't be a coincidence. And I'm like, yeah, I was trying to tell the YouTube people the same thing, but they probably thought I was crazy in that video. I didn't say that out loud. That's what I was thinking. And so you find ourselves in a situation where we're talking about Ronnie Hubbs and him and Cecil Rhodes. Now, here's the thing. I really believe that a lot of the colonization that took place was colonizers finding methods of safety. Because let's not forget that L. Ron Hubbard himself says that in order to be able to, what might be right for that we as humans are mostly good with evil added, which means that with so we're good with evil added. And so if we remove this evil, which we started talking about the reactive mind as well, guys, we talked about it all. And the 8 dynamics, which is the first time I heard about the 8 dynamics and the tone scale. This I'm saying this lady was on a different level. It was great. It was awesome. It was great for me to have gone in like this aloof, like, wow. So like, how did you guys will get to hear the conversation. I hope you can actually check. I haven't even checked the audio. I hope the audio is good. Anyways, I'll try. I can probably edit it to turn it up. We'll figure that out while I'm on the airplane, I think. So anyway, yeah, he thinks we're good with evil added. He thinks when we remove these other things, our reactive mind, that we will be able to just do things without second guessing, without a lack of clarity, because clarity is the thing that always comes up, that we have a lack of clarity. But then he goes on to state that you doing what's best for you can be problematic for somebody else, because he used the example of the duck, that you shouldn't question if you want to kill the duck for food, but are you now not considered evil to the duck? That's the question, isn't it? Because, and this is what I'm trying to say about the safety in colonization. There was safety in colonization because if we rule over you, we can be protected from whatever our perceived risks are of you, because we're all risks to each other. One concept I like to throw out there are a few concepts that I think we should throw out and do a worldwide research experiment, right? I would love to host this one day when I have a research lab. I will more than happily host. Okay, I can't actually technically host either of them. You'll see why. I would love to see every country go against each other in like a tournament style fist fight. Like just hands, no guns, no shields, no swords, just UFC style. Even MMA, you know what I'm saying? And see who comes out on top. That would be fascinating. The other, and if you think about that, guys, and my other scenario, this is a question I like to ask to men. What is your plan in a zombie apocalypse? So have a zombie apocalypse and see what happens. See who rises on top. You know why? Because now that we're thinking about these things, immediately our brain starts to go to not just survival, but safety. And when we're dealing with extreme situations that can all occur at any point in time, safety becomes more important than survival. And that's why I think L. Ron Hubbard is a genius to have taken out the word safety, not used the word like safety and used the word survival instead. Can I just talk, guys, about how freaking insane my brain is? I just made a video talking about safety in the entertainment industry. Now I'm talking about Scientology. But then again, is that surprising? No, it's not, because the connections you guys are following on here. So I think what L. Ron Hubbard has really done is he himself mastered ultimate safety, which is I will dominate all of you, and I'm going to dominate you all so much into death. Because I think about how his minions, these lot, they are so dedicated. She's like, I found Scientology 40 years ago, and came from a religious background, the classic, a religious background, but And then I'm like, so you got Ronnie Hubsed. You got Ronnie Hubsed and you are hooked. You're like he's a god to these people. Because this is what I'm thinking, like, who are you? Because there's a whole, I've got an even pamphlet here. I won't bring it out now, but I've got a whole pamphlet here, which is equivalent to his commandments. Oh my gosh, should I see if I can get it? Because we're here, aren't we? Let me see if I can get this thing out. Sorry, it's because I've packed this bag so well. I've had to because, so much stuff. Right, just bear with me, guys, a second. If I can get this little pamphlet, because he's got like his own 10 commandments, mate. I was like, enough of everybody making their 10 commandments. China changed the 10 commandments. The flipping Bill Gates has the 10 commandments now. Like, please can we leave the 10 commandments alone? Also, 11. One of them is an 11 commandments. Where is this pamphlet? Oh, here's my second personality test. Oh, gosh. And, here it is. Found it. This little pamphlet here. This is what they were giving out as well on Thanksgiving. So, guys, my life is a movie. I swear down my life is a movie. So, I wish I could stand this. I should think of these things ahead. I want to see if this is in here. So this is called The Way to Happiness. Guide to Better Living. Please tell me these 20, it's like 21 commandments. I'm really hoping they're in here. Anyway, as I'm going on, these people really worship this man as a god. Why? Because what he has, found it is in here. What he has done is he's created a sense of safety. Here, you can do whatever you want, be whatever is your issue, we have an answer. You don't just need to survive anymore. Because if surviving was all that it took, guys, why would anybody consider this? Let's ask a good question. Let's ask an intelligent question. If survival was all that we were requiring, then why do we even consider the idea of any form of belief system? Because surely we are all surviving. Why are we doing more? Even if you're surviving, but life can be stressful sometimes, you're surviving, right? Because that's survival. If you guys think about survival in the forest, if someone says we're going to go on a survival camping trip, you're not envisioning that you're going to get there. It's going to be the most beautiful tent you've ever seen there with like everything perfectly laid out and perfect, are you? No, you're expecting that we're going out with a minimal amount of things and we're going to learn to eat and live off the land. Survival. All that other stuff I just talked about is safety. Like, if the weather's really bad, we've got this huge cabin. If we can't start a fire, we've already got a gas stove. You see what I'm saying? So it's just amazing to me how intelligent this man is. He truly is. And we're very similar, me and Ron Hubbard, because we both like to observe people and we both really notice a lot more about others as a whole than people really notice about themselves. If to be honest, and then other people even pay attention to in the world itself. So I'm trying to see if there's a page where they're just summarized, because they're all on separate pages. Yeah, listen to this. Look at this. Look at what it says. And this is what they were giving out on Thanksgiving. I'll read it to you. Why I gave you this book. Your survival is important to me. And then they've got a definition here. Survival, the act of remaining alive, of continuing to exist, of being alive. And it's interesting because me and the lady both agreed, because she'd ask me questions like, what is your definition of this? And I would say to her that, and this is where I was saying something that I truly believe. I said, well, I don't believe that it's as simple as asking me what a word means, because I believe us as humans all interpret words differently, which is one of the main reasons I think we all struggle with communication so much, because we're all saying the same words, but we have different meanings. Because a lot of the time, because I'm somebody who's not good at English, a lot of the time I have to search the definitions, like even for my YouTube videos, because I know I'm going to use a word that if I don't understand it, I have to search it if I'm going to use it with you guys, which means that because I actually have searched it, then I actually do know what it means, which then shows me how much this is not what people have been using it. So anyway, interesting how they got that in there. And again, it's about survival, right? It's about survival. But is it really though? because we're already surviving. The act of being alive, what did they say? The act of remaining alive, of continuing to exist, of being alive. We're already alive. And here's another thought. If we're already alive, then doesn't that mean that our reactive minds can exist and we're still alive? Our reactive mind can exist and we still survive. Because another thing that I realized when I was at this thing is they had a whole little power. It was these guys, they look like they're living in a... When I walked into these buildings, yeah, because of how bright the lights are and yeah, so everything was set up. I'm gonna have to get photos, guys, because I knew I was recording. I couldn't record like with my actual like the camera, but I got the audio. But I was like, I can probably find photos on Google, I would imagine. But anyway, I did kind of find some photos on Google anyway. But inside, it kind of looks like a spaceship almost. Anyway, so at one of the docks inside the spaceship, the first one I had was where they had the intro videos that tell you all the stuff I was just saying about the Thetan and the 8 dynamics. And then in another doc, we have learning about L. Ron Hubbard. And they confirmed something that I believed about him, which is that it talks about how he got the opportunities to go to all these East Asian places where he saw unscientifically explainable things taking place, which is why I believe that this man is essentially a wizard, even in another sense, you know. And why? Because if you can control somebody, what is witchcraft? The meaning of witchcraft, or even the Greek word for witchcraft, since we're talking Greek over here with L. Ron Hubbard, pharmakia, like pharmacy. You guys hearing this? Manipulation and control. Manipulation and control. Now let's think of even the terms I use in the entertainment industry, like the likes of Kris Jenner. You know, our classic Wicked Witches of the West. Let's look at Lou M. Taylor, business manager, ex-business manager of Britney Spears. What is it that even Britney said in our last video that these people were trying to do? Control her. Because why? That produces the safety in their lives of what they want to keep there, which is these houses, paying each other, going on holidays, while Britney is being forced to take lithium, have abortions, stay on birth control, this, that, and the other. So according to L. Ron Hubbard, isn't that all justifiable as long as we've removed the reactive mind? Because that's like the duck analogy. Doesn't that make Britney Spears' parents and family and the entertainment industry just a duck hunter and her the duck? You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying when it comes to survival versus safety. If we were really just looking at survival, then we would have already cured all of the world hunger and everything. Because look at us in the West. We over consume. A lot of people, even, it's like a known fact that a lot of people end up becoming like obese and stuff like that because of a lack of food growing up. So now whenever they have food, it's like, oh, I don't want to give it up because I don't know when I'll eat again. I have to finish my plate because I'm used to not having this again. It's a safety mechanism. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, L. Ron Hubbard is like the best wizard. Ronnie Hubbs, genius wizard. And I think there's a flaw in his description of Scientology, and I think it's there on purpose. Scientology is not about survival. It is about safety. And just as I say that, there's a police officer right there in front of me. And what does he have all over him? Because of the high stakes of his job. Is he just going to survive in his job? No, he has, I can't even tell how many things on his body for what? His safety. It is not enough in life to seek only survival. One must seek safety. I've decided I'm going to start talking like a philosopher, by the way, because if L. Ron Hubbard is if so many people are so audacious to just be turning into philosophers, so I've decided I want a slice of the pie too, because I feel like I say some good golden nuggets, as one of you guys would say. Shout out to Tim and Sarah. But yeah, I'm going to start speaking like a philosopher, because one of my life goals is that one day there'll be like a quote of me, like how people quote like Aristotle and stuff like that. That people will quote my name. That's my goal in life. One of my goals in life. I know that's ridiculous. Anyway, Ronnie Hubbs is a wizard. He's just trying to control everybody. Because look, think about it. It's the ultimate form of wizardry. And let me tell you why it's the ultimate form of wizardry. Because it's Satan in plain view. What does the kingdom of darkness want to do? Control us. Why? How can I even say that? Is that biblically viable? Well, according to the Bible, when we have Christ, we are freed. Did you catch that? What are we freed from? The chains that we have placed around our own ankles and bodies as a result of our covenantal behavior with the kingdom of darkness, which we call sin. You see that right there? Where we're controlled by something else. A lot of modern day people are controlled by their bodies in one way or another, by their flesh. Whether it's food, whether it's emotion, whether it's in a sexual sense. In all the different senses, people are controlled by their flesh to the point you can't stop yourself because you're a slave. So whatever has you there has power over you. And that thing right there is what has actual safety. Because as long as this is why I use transatlantic slave trade in the beginning. As long as we keep these people here, they can't succeed past this, we are safe. And that's why I'm like, hey, all anybody should take away from the transatlantic slave trade is, learn from what your enemies did that you didn't do. Because I really believe the colonizers were thinking more about safety and the colonized were thinking more about survival. I'm just saying, that's why I don't automatically think that, somebody talking about weapons or protecting themselves is like some kind of violent person. Because had a lot of places during the transatlantic slave trade had actually been more prepared, then you would have been able to fight back your enemies. And this goes back to my examples I gave of let's do a worldwide this is where I started to have ideas about let's do a worldwide wrestling match where we all wrestle against every other country. Let's have a worldwide zombie apocalypse. Let's see what happens. Because those are situations where survival will actually even just be the base level of making it. And some people who are currently feeling safe will realize that they won't even be able to survive, just as soon as I gave that example. That's why I have a plan for what I'm going to do in the zombie apocalypse. If you watch through this video this long, write in the comment section what you would do in a zombie apocalypse. What is your strategy? And please give me an idea of where you are in the world. Like, so you can just say like a country, just so that I can understand the backdrop. But this is why I'm saying that the kingdom of darkness. This is why I'm comparing Ronnie Hubbs to Satan, because this is what Satan does. He tries to control us. What does God not do? God does not control us. How do we know this? Anybody who's been here for the last 9 months knows this, because I've been going on and 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 on about the choice in the garden. How God's like, you choose every day you choose whatever you want to do. Just like how I chose to go back on a trip that I was supposed to stay for longer. It was a choice, right? But here's the thing. Guess what? That choice could be based on slavery from the kingdom of darkness. Or it could be based on freedom in God. Now, that's what I have to figure out myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the enemy does. He finds a way to control you, because as long as he's controlling you, it's safety. As long as the kingdom of darkness has us all enslaved, then we cannot become a force against it. Just like I was using with the American citizens and a corrupt government. We cannot become a force to destroy. I'm just giving it to you guys. I'm just literally piecing it together myself as I'm telling you. Because these things just hit me right now. The safety thing. It's so interesting, isn't it? And it's all because that's a big theme for me right now. Is my concept of safety in this world, and how I've said that I only feel safe in the presence of God. This is the truth. That's why it almost doesn't matter what is going on outside. Even yesterday, I was thinking, some people are worried about my safety right now because I was in New York City at the parade that was being broadcast on national TV, and the helicopters were looking out for terrorists because there was supposed terrorist attacks, and I was like, this is nuts. And you could tell there was slight tension amongst the people of like, we're going to enjoy this, but we're kind of also paying attention to this a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, my life is like a movie, I swear down. It's like a movie. Anyway, you guys get the gist. So Ronnie Hubbs, Mr. Ronnie Hubbs, he's just a sorcerer. He's just a sorcerer who teaches those, because it's like what the lady was doing is she was trying to convince me that what she knows is right and that I should follow what she's doing, which immediately puts her in the dominant position and me in the submissive position, because she knows greater than I. And the reason why I know she was doing this is because I've now spoken to a few of these people, and she's the one who did it the most intelligently. She was the one who was able to tell you something that she wants you to believe about yourself and or them without it seeming like she's trying to tell you that, by doing it in a way where it's like you came to this conclusion. And that's what all of Scientology is. It's literally programming. It's not us telling you anything. It's us allowing you to tell yourself what you need to know. That's what they do. That's exactly what they do, guys, over there. And then we fall for it. Why? Because we are tricked to think that we are in control, that it's about us regaining even more control. We're actually giving it away, because the more we have to take from them, the more leadership we need, the less control we have. The more they have to teach us something or training or whatever we have to do, the more power they are getting to have. And it's just like Britney Spears. The younger she was, the more that she was doing what she wanted to do, the more she was in control. The more that she was entrusting in these people, she's hiring her family members, she's hiring Lou M. Taylor, they're hiring all these people. The more these people are able to have control over her, which was then weaponized via the route of a conservatorship. And that's why, guys, let me just introduce that. I have been for a while planning to talk about why Scientology and conservatorships are the perfect pairing. So just stay tuned for all of that. Anyways, guys, yeah. I hope you've enjoyed my video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And I'll see you in my next one.